that's a large hole in the air, including the Lexus that they're about to catch from the GT Daytona class. So BMW on the back straight, Porsche's really not very far away, running second and third in the GTLM category.
And there officially is the new distance record, 809 laps completed by Kamui Kobayashi. The gap from first to second, well, it's over 40 seconds now. There's really no battle there. 26 seconds between second and third. So our interest right now is on this battle for the lead in GTLM. And what a charge Earl Bamber is putting on here after having snuck past Nick Tandy. He's put a good second between him and the GTD car as well.
A sorry sight is to see the Performance Tech Orica going behind the wall. Cameron Castle's brought that machine in. Performance Tech Motorsports Orica 07, but that's been pushed behind the wall and back to the garage. They're going to do well to get that car back into the race to see it, to get it to see the checkered flag. We may be down to a 4-car field in LMP2.
3.1 seconds now the gap between Jesse Krohn in the number 24 BMW and Earl Bamber in the number 912 Porsche. Did Bamber lose a little bit of ground there? Because all of a sudden Nick Tandy's a good bit closer than he was last time. I guess he got in the draft. There's only 6 tenths between those two.
2.9, a couple of tenths maybe lost between those sector points, but the Porsche's working together really. Now the pit stop for the 24, and this was the last stop, I'm sure, for the number 20, i.e. the penultimate, no, the last stop for the BMW to see it to the finish.
Stick of tyres.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't look like scrubs. They look like
very shiny indeed, don't they? Yeah. And the Porsches, a moment or two ago, Earl Bamber poking his nose up the inside of Nick Tandy into the tri-oval. Tandy had to defend that, and again, too late on the brakes, ran out wide, and that's what gave Earl Bamber the position.
Earl was pumping his fist, and Nick would go, dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were really close to contact, and you only got to remember back a few years to when the two 911s tangled in the night on the infield, took each other out effectively, and that was a rather embarrassing moment for Porsche. It shows, doesn't it, how eager each of these cars are to win the GTLM category. No team orders within the Porsche GT team.
3.4 seconds the gap this time as they come across the line. 24 to 9:11, 36 minutes remaining. Lap times last time around 1 minute 42.8 for Jesse Krohn. His fastest lap in the race, 1:42.1. Earl Bamber's lap that time 1:43.1 against a 42.1, and Nick Tandy a 42.8. So Nick Tandy was about 3 tenths quicker last time around. I think it's been a bit of a mistake, slight mistake on that last lap by Earl Bamber at turn 1. Nick Tandy hasn't given up, has he?
Certainly not. We are expecting the Kamui Kobayashi-driven Konica Minolta Cadillac in at the end of this lap. At least the team are making movements down there.
That'll be about right. 36 minutes to go in this race. Yeah, here it comes right now, ducking onto the pit lane.
Down pit road it goes, and it's heading for Jamie Howe, who's going to watch this final stop of the race for the race leader. So, the tamed Cadillac engine, which will fire into life just as soon as all the work is done. But this infuriatingly slow, I'm sure, for the Japanese driver. Let's go down to Jamie to watch the stop.
Kamui Kobayashi will take this car all the way to the checkered flag. He said earlier this week that he, as well as all of his co-drivers and really the entire organization, were taking a philosophical approach to just enjoy every moment. They wanted to enjoy the practice sessions, get through qualifying, hit all of their marks, go about their plan, and really he just wanted to do this to have a good time. I'd imagine that's exactly what it feels like behind the wheel as they hit their marks perfectly, perform and execute as they plan to do on the final pit stop. All high fives around the number 10 Konica Minolta.
Yeah, their job, fingers crossed, is done now, and they can just enjoy watching this car being run to the finish.
That's exactly right, Johnny, and Kamui being very conservative, I think, through the pit lane exit there. Make sure there's no speeding in the pit lane, nothing like that. For him, he goes, accelerates now back out onto the racetrack. Job done by the pit crew at Konica Minolta Cadillac Racing. Now he's got a LMP2 car. He'll just let that P2 car go through, but most likely. then pass him when he gets back onto the banking.
So Ollie Jarvis close enough to actually take the race lead for a short spell in 77 Mazda Team Hurst DPI. Kobayashi slotting into second. Loic Duval is also in pit road now, the number 5 car for that caddy's final stop. And Juan Pablo Montoya came in the Acura not too long ago, but that, for my money, means that he's going to have to stop again, the number 6 car. The tyre sliced in the JDC Miller car, also down pit road now for the 85's final visit to pit lane. That will see it filled with fuel and be good to the finish. As the number 10 car now is getting more and more up to speed. A little bit of GT Daytona traffic to negotiate though, heading out, and a big puff of dirt being thrown into the face of Kamui Kobayashi there from the number 11 Lamborghini. Car 11 is, sadly for Richard Hyastand, down in 14th position in GTD. Not quite the last of our runners though. Marcel Fessler still circulating in the number 4 Corvette C8R, that car labelled as 36th. And
yeah, how do you spell resilience?
I know.
I mean,
I
gosh,
know. Well,
isn't it 8 hours or more in the pits for the number 4 car?
7 hours and 50 minutes, I seem to remember. Yeah. For that housing, cramped housing.
Even Don Fiat thought they'd parked that car, the Corvette Racing program manager, but oh no, the team, the guys on the number 4 car had other ideas. We want to get that car back out there, learn some more about it, and the car's certainly running, I think, reasonably well. So lap times has it been turning lately for?
It's actually right in front of the race, the second place car now, but will evolve to be the race leader. Kobayashi properly back up to speed now. Mazda leading currently, 77 Ollie Jarvis, then the Japanese in second, and the rejoining Loic Duval in third position in the number 5 Mustang Sapling Racing sponsored car, and expecting Ollie Jarvis into pit road this lap. Indeed, that's the car peeling off now out of Speedway turn 4 for its final stop, and the 77 pulls into its pit bay. Nice and easily done because it's the first one in the lane, and Shea Adams watching.
An honour that they earned by scoring the pole position at the Roar before the 24. The driver who did that time was Olivier Pla, who did a faster time than Oliver Jarvis. So when Ollie went out for qualifying on Thursday, which seems like forever ago now, he knew he had one job to do, which was to get the pole again. Did not better his record lap time, but now has the opportunity to go out and potentially win this race for Mazda team. A big ask. 27 seconds worth of fuel came into that car, and Oliver Jarvis has been left behind the wheel.
Just trying to desperately get some tyre temperature up even on pit road with a flick to the left erratically of the front wheels, and then to the right as well. That's the reason why it's just squirming very slightly as he tries to generate Michelin tyre temperature and take a good few corners out. Like the pit lane light sequence on the front of that Mazda. It's been doing it raw race long, of course. Gentle movement from left to right in order to add that extra bit of warning for those working in the pit lane, including Shea Adam and Jamie Howe. On top of all the stops, as predicted, Juan Pablo Montoya did need to come in one more time, so that's slightly less of a fuel fill to get it through the final 30-odd minutes. Similar amount of fuel going into the 77, but what it does do, of course, now that Jarvis has made his final stop, puts Kamui Kobayashi back to the lead. This is lap number 8:14, and still the predicted distance being 8:31, which once again, for the second time in 3 years, blows the absolute distance record of the Rolex 24 out of the water. It was 8:08, we're now at 8:13, and expected to go for a further 17 odd laps. Ollie Jarvis slotting back into the sequence then, 50 odd seconds behind. Loic Duval still got about 30 seconds to try and make up on the Mazda, but can't see that being done somehow. And the message to Kamui Kobayashi from Konica Minolta Cadillac DPI you have no pressure, so just take it easy. Not even a push without risk, just ease it home now. 50 seconds to the good. Ooh, but flicking from one side of the track to the other to dodge around the Riley Motorsports Mercedes, almost dropping the front right tyre on the grass there as he did so. But that again is the brilliant behavioural technique of Kamui Kobayashi, but also the car as well. It can change direction at will and slice its way through GT Daytona traffic. That Acura car number 6 has been working incredibly hard, looked resplendent at the start of the race, but after a hard old night, the nose splattered with goodness knows what there, and that's the sort of thing you immediately seal into the wrap at the end of the race to show how hard the car has worked, rotating through all three of its drivers. So Montoya currently at the wheel, Simon Pagenaud and Dane Cameron.
Bora Castro Neves!
Very impressive stints over the night as well, but they've been struggling with car setup, car balance. Really, after the first few hours, we noticed it was porpoising very slightly, the Acura, in the earlier sessions this week.
Where's the number 81 car? Excuse me.
It's all right, it's in the pits apparently.
I can't see it.
So it's on its way again, just heading into the International Horseshoe now.
Fine.
Ben Hanley.
Because the number 52 car now is I think back on the lead lap?
Fuel and tyres, by the way, for Ben Hanley.
No, maybe it's still a lap behind. Okay, fine. Just over a lap behind.
Yeah, Gabby Aubry really pushing hard in the PR1 Matheson Motorsport car, but looking like a second place is the best that they could muster. Elliot Castroneves now into pit road for his final stop. This is the car that was really badly damaged after contact with Harry Ticknell. It's going to be fuel only for Castroneves though, no need to take tyres. And that car, 8th place in DPI, so still on course for 23 points. And he's worked hard to get it, well, together with the DPIs on the timing screen. The problem is it's 10 laps down to the next car in DPI, which is Felipe Nasser.
That's right. So it's been a kind of really difficult, long day today for that number 17. They know they've got really not much chance to make up any ground in the overall annual championship points, but they do have to kind of keep on going just in case any of the other cars should strike any problems. But you know, it's awfully difficult to keep the motivation going when you're not really in with a shout of anything other than hoping for others to break down. It's the number 10 car putting another lap on the number 24 BMW. Jesse Krohn has increased its gap now over the Porsches out to 6 seconds now. Number 24 over the number 912, and sure Nick Tandy kind of ready to give up the ghost, but he slipped back just a little bit, not quite on the tail of Alabama as he was a little while ago. Running GTD, Andrea Caldarelli in number 48, Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini leads by just under 19 seconds over Marco Mappelli in the GRT Grassa Lamborghini. Marco Mappelli is about better part of half a minute ahead of his fellow Italian Mirko Bertolotti in number 88. That's the WRT Speedstar Audi Sport.
Yeah, and another 5.2 litre V10 powered car. So that design of engine doing very nicely, whether it be in a Lamborghini or an Audi, locking out the top 3 positions. The Porsches come next in GT Daytona, with Klaus Bachler for Wright Motorsports and Jeroen Bleekemolen in the Black Swan car, which was rebuilt from a completely new chassis after one of the early sessions this week. So 54, Black Swan Racing on course for a top 5. That would have seemed very, very unlikely if you'd spoken to him at the end of the session that Trenton Estep was involved in a really bad-looking crash. Delighted to see that Trenton stepped away from the incident, but it meant that the car was too badly damaged to continue, and they had to source a new chassis from Wright Motorsports.
Tremendous work by these drivers to repay all the work that was done by that Black Swan Racing team in the overnight hours of Thursday to Friday. to take the rule that you are allowed to use a different car, but you have to use the same engine and transmission from the original car. So they had to transfer that, take that out of the wreck car, put it in the right motorsports car. As we heard from several of the drivers, particularly Joe Blakeham earlier, the steering wheel set up on the number 954 car now, the new car, so to speak, is a bit different to the systems that were on their car with which they were more familiar, so they had to kind of get used to that. But hey, it's not as if Jerome Blakeham hasn't driven a few different cars with different configurations before, is it?
It'd give him half a lap and he's probably adjusting to the new one, frankly. Yeah, lends his hand to all sorts of different machinery. We've seen him in prototypes before. We saw him in the Ford GT in GTE spec privateer hands last year at Le Mans. They thought they'd won it, but post-race tech did for them, quite rightly, under the regulations. But Jerome Blakeham, yes, will lend his hand to pretty much everything within motorsport. Loves his car racing at every level. 23.5 minutes still to go. Right and left, and now into the international horseshoe for Kamui Kobayashi. 52 seconds now, the advantage, so he's been told there's no pressure, actually eking out the gap to Ollie Jarvis. I think he's found about 4 seconds now.
Yeah, and I think for Jarvis, you know, he knows that he's pretty comfortable. He's got still 20.5 seconds over number 5 car. That gap's come down somewhat, but you know, with what we'll have about maybe 12 laps to go, 13 laps to go. So as long as he can lose no more than 1.5 seconds a lap to the number 5 car that's running in 3rd position, that'll be comfortable. So Oliver Jarvis at this stage, just making sure everything is hunky-dory, bring that car home, don't overstress it. 2nd place isn't what they wanted, isn't what they hoped for, having won the pole position for the 2nd year in a row. But I tell you what, it's a heck of a lot better than last year when both Mazdas were out in the early stages of the race. In fact, you know, pretty much all of these drivers in this car looking for their first ever Daytona finish, in actual fact.
Yes, and you know, that's number 1 target, get to the end, and then fingers crossed you're somewhere near the top 5, even better than that podium, and then after that the race win. But it's incremental steps for Mazda, no doubt about it. All this work on the reliability, you know, has proven itself. Yeah,
for Tristan Nunez, this is his 8th Rolex 24 at Daytona. Don't think he's finished one of them.
Really?
No.
Shay says you're correct, Jeremy. Yeah. According to her statistics too.
And so for Oliver Jarvis and Olivier Pla, 4 races previously for Oliver Jarvis, 6 for Oli Pla, and the best finish out of those two must have between them was an 8th.
Yeah. Yeah, this is big steps in terms of progress for Mazda Team Wurst. 2 radically different paint scheme. Well, one we were used to, the 55 and the 77 in the all-white livery. Now, just around the outside of the Riley Motorsports Mercedes. A miracle that car is still running after it ended up in the tyre wall many hours ago at the Western Horseshoe. The 55 Mazda, meanwhile, in the deep maroon, heading into the right-hander at the first hairpin bend on the infield, just exiting now, in fact.
Game on again, by the way, between the Porsches for 2nd and 3rd in GTLM. They're still slipping back from Jesse Krohn, who's extended the lead in the BMW out to almost 8 seconds now, but the 2 Porsches tied together wherever they are on the racetrack.
Speedway turn 1,
are they?
I think. Now to 2, yeah.
Yeah, so there's maybe 10 car lengths between as they head on down the back straight. Good traffic ahead. Tandy having slipped a 2nd or so behind after a couple of slips. He's now holding in again on Earl Bamber, so he's going to put the Kiwi under as much pressure as he possibly can. I think there's any team orders amongst these two other than
get it to the finish.
Don't hit each other.
Don't hit each other. Well,
they come awfully close a couple of times, didn't they?
I'm not sure I got the memo. Not that there was contact, but Nick Tandy, more than a glance in the mirrors, wondering what on earth the Kiwi was up to. But I like to see that within a team. Of course, some very friendly rivalry between the mechanics on 911 and 912. And And if the Nick Tandy car can finish ahead, then there'll be high fives all around down at 9.11. The real problem for Porsche, though, is that the gap's opening up to the GTLM leader, which is the BMW. Will Tandy think about slipping through here? Almost side by side. Tandy is going to get the inside line, but the 912, don't hit each other. We've already seen they did. There was a love tap there between the two of them. And 912 El Bamba trying to fend off Nick Tandy. The 912 had the inside line into the King, but I think they just scratched wheel arches there. So that's all right, as long as it doesn't get more brutal than that. Yeah,
I think there was about a Porsche width between the two of them, wasn't there, on the edge of the racetrack there as they headed out of the International Horseshoe.
Maybe Nick Tandy just testing the water to see whether he can get ahead. He'd much more prefer a second place finish than the third where he currently sits. And I bet Fred McAveeky and Matt Campbell just cannot look at the screens right now. And likewise, Earl Bamber's teammates, Mathieu Jaminet and Laurent Van Tour, much more comfortable for drivers to be in cars and in control. They don't like being on the pram perch and having to watch all this unfold as a spectator. Out of the bus stop and into Speedway Turn 3, the two Porsches still together. Again, that scrap into the first of the horseshoes has just lost him a couple more tenths to Jesse Crone, who's just scampering away in the number 24 BMW, the black M8 that leads that category. Antonio Garcia in the number 3 Corvette is in 4th position. He's over a minute behind these two Porsches, so they can afford to fight one another a little bit if they wish. Maybe they've realised the BMW is not for catching, and now it is. Just a straight fight for second and third between the two.
No question, and just behind him on the racetrack, is he catching or have they just passed the number 4 Corvette, which is still out on the track? The lap time last time around for the Corvette was a 1:45, so okay, maybe they just passed Corvette. I can see it.
Is that the Fessler one, the silver?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right behind the two Porsches going around the horseshoe there.
So it is. And the yellow Corvette, as I say, negotiating the same lap as the Porsches, but also 71 seconds behind them. Back up onto the 31-degree banking go Bamba and Tandy. 5th position in GTLM with the demise of the 62 Ferrari is Colton Herta in the other BMW. So both of the BMW Team RLL prepared cars will be on 4 points, 1st and 5th positions currently.
And that was the car that had a problem a long time ago, but they've kept plugging away, and it's going to be, they're going to finish next in line after the 4 GTLM class leaders are all on the lead lap. But as you say, Johnny Palmer, 14 laps behind them. Forget what that problem was, but it's put them out of contention. They too have just been battling away and running as long as they can. And they've a couple of laps ago, how long ago? Well, actually quite a while ago now, it's overtaken the tally of laps that was already completed by the Ricci Ferrari before they threw in the towel about an hour ago.
Don't forget, folks, as always, we'll have a post-race tech show, the Michelin post-race tech at the end of our race broadcast, and we welcome your questions and queries at this point, whether they be related to the opener for the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship or indeed to the future of sports car racing, not only in North America but also worldwide, with the announcement on Friday of convergence between IMSA, the ACO and the FIA, the new category LMDH. More details to come about that at Sebring, but certainly plenty for us to chew through during Michelin post-race tech. So do fire your tweets in our direction at IMSA Radio with the hashtag MichelinPRT. So Michelin PRT is the hashtag at IMSA Radio. You tune to RS2 IMSA Radio across the USA and around the world via the World Wide Web. We're live trackside at the Daytona International Speedway. 15 minutes remain on the clock. And GTLM, with every turn of the wheel for Jesse Crone, becoming more and more certain as a victory for BMW. Likewise for the Konica Minolta Wayne Taylor Racing prepared Cadillac DPI, Kamui Kobayashi, the car he shares with Renger van der Zande, Ryan Briscoe and Scott Dixon. All 4 drivers been brilliant throughout the duration of this event, and they've had their various trials and tribulations, not least, well, a big old penalty that Ryan Briscoe had to soak up for running a red light at the end of the pit lane. And there was also a penalty earlier on as well when Kamui Kobayashi went too fast in the pit lane and had to do a drive-through.
That was the other one.
Yeah, so the 10 has had its little hurdles along the way, but seemingly been able to come back from each of those. Andrea Caldarelli leading by 18.6 seconds from Marco Mappelli. The 88 car of Verco Bortolotti still running there in 3rd position, but that car hasn't made its final stop. We worked out that that car would need to have a splash at some point, and it has done. So Bortolotti in and back out again, and looking good there for 3rd position, a cushion of best part of 20 seconds over Klaus Bachler.
Yeah, what a performance it's been there for the 2 Lamborghini teams there for Formula Racing. Champions in this series 2 years ago. Madison Snow sat out last year because of the change in driver ratings. He remained a silver on the FIA rankings, but not on the IMSA rankings, and that precluded him from racing last year because you need at least one silver or gold driver in each of the cars for a full season. Brian Sellers is already a gold-rated driver, but this year IMSA has relented. They've given Madison Snow back his silver rating, and he's able to join Brian Sellers for the full championship, and looking to get a victory here. Both of those two have been on the podium here before in a Rolex 24, a 2nd for Brian Sellers, a 3rd for Madison Snow. They would love to get onto the top step. And they've got 12 minutes remaining.
54, nearly 55 seconds. Kobayashi leads Ollie Jarvis. 21.8 now, back to Loic Duval. So Duval has nibbled away at that gap. He's going to run out of time, sadly, for the number 5 car. And that's probably Jarvis starting to drive within himself now to make sure that the Mazda gets to the race finish. Not going to catch the 10. So just ease back and take 0 risk now to make sure the Mazda gets to the end. Crucially in 2nd position. 8.25 laps now completed. Actually, the prediction's gone out a further lap, so 8.32 now. 7 laps or so to go. And Ben Hanley in the LMP2 slot. Oh, just had a pit stop for Gabby Aubry, I noticed. So the 52 car coming in to take a final fill of fuel. Not much required. And the Frenchman, 21 years old, staying at the wheel of the PR1 Matheson Motorsport car, 9 laps in hand over Nicolas Minassian. Is the Era Motorsports Orica. So the order's going to stay the same. John Ferrano is in the number 8 Tower Motorsport by Starworks LMP2. All 4 cars still together on the timing stream. The one we've lost is Cameron Castles, that went behind the wall, I think, for a final time in the 38, and that's got to be 30 minutes or so ago. But otherwise, the 4 in LMP2 run 9th overall, down to 12th, ahead of 5 GTLM cars. The BMW of Jesse Crow, the 2 Porsches, Bamba from Tandy. Antonio Garcia makes it a 3rd different manufacturer in the top 4. And the sister car to the race leader in GTLM is Colton Herter in the white BMW. We're talking about the problems for that car. Well, first of all, they couldn't get a right front wheel off, and the wheel gun man had to try several attempts to get it off. I think it ended up being something like a 3-minute pit stop, when it's often much more quicker than that. And then there was a far bigger problem which took it behind the wall. I forget the exact details of that, but it put the 25 car basically out of contention. Team RLL instead put all their eggs in the 24 basket, but it's proven to be, in the end, a very strong car indeed. And 11.5 seconds now it has as an advantage over the 2 Porsches. The Michelin post-race tech show follows our race coverage. Don't forget to get involved if you have questions and queries. or just a discussion strand that you'd like to pitch in, at Michelin Post-Race Tech on Twitter, and make sure you address the tweet to at IMSA Radio. Let's go down to Shay Adam for something else to add to the conversation.
Well, you mentioned the tenseness, or excuse me, you mentioned their eggs into the 24 basket fairly early on. There is a complete tenseness down here.
Rapaziada, o Kobayashi tá voando.
One of their cars to win. Down at the other end of pit lane, where Porsche GT is stationed, there's tenseness from a different kind of perspective, because even though they're a team, and there are 2 team cars currently occupying 2 podium positions, they still haven't decided who's going to be on which step.
No, and that battle rages on. Obviously, it's not all guns blazing as it might have been between BMW and Porsche. Relatively conservative fight, but I don't know, Bamber stuck his nose up the inside of Tandy in the tri-oval, and then there was the side-by-side moment out of the International Horseshoe as well, where if there wasn't contact, it came very, very close. We've seen them side-by-side. Are they just settling down somewhat now? 9.12 ahead of 9.11, and the gap between them is a second.
Yeah, the leading 3 cars in GTLM, the only guys who have a Rolex so far, Nick Tandy has one, and Augusto Farfus in the BMW crew, he won last season, so he's looking for his second, but for everybody else, it'll be a first Rolex watch.
Just going to correct something that was mentioned a little bit earlier on about Ollie Jarvis having never won this race before, because back in 2013 there was a class victory, I'm being told, in an Audi for Alex Racing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was just good point there was. But the overall finishes,
yes,
the rest of his managers are 9th.
Yes. But the Jarvis family
Thank you very
started making that clear on Twitter to various people, and we should correct that, quite rightly so.
Absolutely so.
And only Jarvis pole position this year, pole position last year as well, so has a good record around here in terms of single lap speed, and also has a Rolex. He was actually wearing the Rolex when he qualified the car. I beg your pardon, yes, that was a Sebring Rolex, which was even cooler, as Shay mentions in my ears. 12-hour victory, so wearing that on his left wrist. Sure, it cost him a couple of hundredths carrying that around with him. 6
Extra weight.
Just a little bit of extra weight, yeah. Success ballast. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go, and well, the general trend is known now, but you still got to tick off the laps. 8.28 completed by Konica Minolta Cadillac's Wayne Taylor Racing car, the number 10. 4 to go, it looks like. So we should just about get to 832, which is way above the 808 set 2 years ago. That occasion, that was the distance record. Well, we smacked it out of the park once again in 2020. Expected a fast race with no rain predicted. We've had no precipitation. We've had the odd caution along the way. 6 of them in total, which account for about an hour and 45 minutes.
3 of which came in very quick succession this morning, around about, what, 8 o'clock or so, 8, 9 o'clock, somewhere around about there.
Yeah. About 10 to 8, I think was the first one, and then within about an hour and a half we'd had 3.
Yeah.
So, but that was really against the grain, considering the lengthy run of, because we've also broken the maximum amount of green flag running ever at this race at 7 hours and 48 minutes, and that was counted in laps as well. 280. 7 hours and 48 minutes, 280 laps.
And of course, they didn't used to have full course cautions here, but since those records began, yes, pretty remarkable. It's certainly been a fantastic race. When we talked about that, didn't we, right at the very beginning of the broadcast, the fact that there's only 38 cars this year. It's the smallest field in the history of this race, but has this lacked anything from your perspective, Johnny Palmer?
No, not at all.
And as we said, it lessens the opportunity for guys to run into each other. There's a few cars on a racetrack, and that's the way it's proved. I think it's just been an absolutely gripping motor race from start to finish.
Yeah.
And we're inside the final 5 minutes now.
I don't think 38 cars in isolation this year was ever a worry. It was just whether it got fewer next year and then fewer again.
Yeah.
But, you know, the announcement about convergence, I think, is going to arrest the slide. And I'd love to see a few more GTLM cars, of course, because with the Ford programme coming to the end, but thankfully still in this championship we've got the BMWs. They were lost from the World Endurance Championship at the end of last season, so the middle portion of 2019, and the WEC has taken that quite hard because there's now only 3 manufacturers included in that, being Ferrari, AF Corsa, Aston Martin with their AMR Vantages, and the Porsches, the new Porsches, so 6-car field in the equivalent of GTLM in the WEC. 7 cars here this year, 5 of them still locked together on the timing screen. The 62 was the big news and retirement a couple of hours ago, and it was a rear right puncture that finally finished that 62 Ferrari off.
Nervous moments here for Paul Miller as he watches his car come towards it. We go across the line one more time. 3.5 minutes remaining. Number 48 car has a lead, waiting for number 44 car to come across the line in second position. It's coming up towards the line now, so the gap has grown to 22 seconds now between the top 2 cars in GTD. So it'll be another might have to do 3 more laps for car number 48 to get to the end.
Yeah, the Kamui Kobayashi Cadillac is in the final sector, and I'm looking out for the white flag this time around because we're working lap 8.31. My prediction reads 8.32. Looking down to the starters rostrum there, I reckon there is a flag in hand. Looking out for the number 10 car, it goes underneath. So we're not going to see the white flag this time around.
We won't see it next time either. There'll be 2 more to go then for Kamui Kobayashi.
So my prediction well out. Apologies for that. Kamui Kobayashi.
That'll be right. 8.32, isn't that what you're saying?
8.30. Yeah, but we've just ticked off 8.31, have we not? So it's going to be 8.32, 8.33. Taking the distance record out further. And now the advantage is over a minute back to Oliver Jarvis. You can get involved with Michelin post-race tech when we finish this race, and of course we'll hear from all the class winners as well. Some reaction from all 4 teams, looking like Konica Minolta for victory in DPI. Dragon Speed going so well in LMP2. BMW now have a 13-second advantage. BMW Team RLL with their M8 and Jesse Krohn finishing off the stint. And a nervous-looking Paul Miller, yes, but they have got almost a 25-second advantage for Andrea Caldarelli in the Lamborghini Huracan, back to the blue number 44 of Marco Mappelli. 90 seconds left on the clock. We are now inside a lap time, so it'll be white flag this time around. And yeah, the white flag just underneath the starter's rostrum right now. In hand, though, and about to be displayed to Kamui Kobayashi, who comes through Speedway Turn 4 with some traffic, but it's white flag being shown now as Kamui Kobayashi goes across the stripe. He had the 57 Acura to negotiate. No problems there, though. I'm sure he's encountered a GTD car many times into turn number 1. Got one of those dream messages from those on the Pratt Perch at Wayne Taylor Racing not so long ago, which was there was no fuel marker to hit either. You can use as much fuel as you want, so no wonder the gap's being opened up back to Oliver Jarvis. It stood at 48 seconds in the early part of this current stint, stretched out to 52. It's now 62 seconds for Kamui Kobayashi, showing no signs of letting up. What about the 2 Porsches in GTLM? There's still a second, just over a second between them, so 9.12 looking very likely that it will finish ahead of 9.11. Actually, the gap's even larger than that now, 4 seconds the difference between Bamba and Tandy, so they have settled into an order. Tonio Garcia, a minute and 20 seconds back. The Corvette, the brand new C8R, is going to miss out on a podium during its first outing. The Porsches are brand new to this championship as well. They'll
Kobayashi correndo muito, velho.
double podium, but they're going to miss out on the win. But Wayne Taylor Racing in the number 10 car. It's a very different lineup from last year. Well, not very different. A couple of drivers the same, but they took victory after that race was red flagged early. It was a horrendous race, really, with the rainfall in 2019. This one has run dry throughout and very few cautions indeed. It's a distance record and it's a victory again for the 10 team. Wayne Taylor leans back on his chair. He can't believe what's just happened. GTLM victors will be the BMW squad and the team RLL with their M8 GTE. Congratulations to Jesse Krohn, who's been at the wheel of that car for a long time, but also we shouldn't forget about Chaz Moster, Augusto Farfus and John Edwards. So that's two of the class winners seen across the line. Still waiting for the second place car of Ollie Jarvis to appear as well. GTD Lamborghini Huracan from the second of the Lamborghini Huracans, and locked into third position across the line goes the Audi. Dragon Speed, though, up on the high banks coming through speedway turns 3 and 4 with the checker in sight, and the white car with the blue body stripe and those stars down it, looking rather battered and dog-eared, but the 81 car takes victory now with Ben Hanley at the wheel. And we must also congratulate Henrik Hedman, Colin Brown and Harrison Newey on their victory. And finally, the GT Daytona victory goes the way of Paul Miller Racing, crossing the line now with Andrea Caldarelli at the wheel of the 48 car, backed up with Madison Snow, Brian Sellers and Corey Lewis. Let's go straight down to the pit lane to get reaction about the number 10's victory. Here's Ryan Briscoe.
And the screaming down on pit lane, I can hear it through my headset as Ryan Briscoe just climbed back up onto the wall to celebrate with the team. You were so nervous as we got into these final couple of hours, then you just got to watch it all unfold. What was the key to victory?
Just keeping it on the track. I mean, Kamui did a fantastic job the last 2.5 hours. You know, we knew the car was fast, so just relieving there were no yellows at the end, and we were able to maintain the lead, and just so proud of all these guys. I mean, Wayne just puts together this program, and they're always a car that can win the Daytona 24 Hours. I think it's his 3 out of 4 years now, so amazing to be a part of it. I'm just so happy for everyone on board, and woo, we did it.
You can hear that smile on his face. The celebration continues, Shay.
John, I've been avoiding you like the plague because the black BMW has brought you so much luck in the past. 3 times you finished 4th here. You are now a Rolex owner and a Daytona winner. What does this feel like?
I mean, I've never even finished on the podium here. Daytona has treated me so badly in the past, and I'm not sure. I think this might be my 10th year here, and the very first year I finished 4th. I guess you said we had another couple times finishing 4th, and you know, that's so bittersweet. You know, when you finish the race and have all that effort and no celebration really from it. So yeah, I think today we were looking pretty sure that it was going to be a podium, but if it had been 2nd or 3rd, it would have been so bittersweet. Yeah, it was hard to believe. It was hard to watch the end. I've never been more anxious in my life, and I looked at Chaz, and he was just cool as a cucumber, you know, rocking his Casio calculator watch, and I'm a little concerned about him because I don't know what he's going to do. You know, now he's got this nice watch, but I don't know if he knows how to tell time on an actual watch. He's got his digital calculator, so I think we might have to teach him a little bit, but yeah, I'm so relieved. The guys at BMW, despite all the hardships we've had the past few years, you know, never lost faith in me, never lost faith in Jesse, and it feels really nice to get one for them today.
Congrats, John. Now to Renger and Jamie.
And Renger van der Zanden now congratulating Wayne Taylor. He was FaceTiming the entire moment of the checkered flag so his family back at home could see. Renger, you have this huge sigh of relief. You can see it on your body language 2 years in a row. What was different this time around?
I mean, you know, we fought so hard, and I think at the end of the day we had such a strong car. We just executed so well, and it's just unbelievable to be in such a fast car and just win this race again. I mean, with Wayne, you always have a chance to win, and that's just a fantastic feeling. We won it again, 2 times in a row. Can you believe it? So super happy, super relieved. My teammates were superstars. My team was a superstar team. We just won it. It's unbelievable. I'm very happy.
You were part of that superstar team. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Shea Adam working very hard to head down towards the LMP2 pit stall, but Jamie Howe's not got very far to go at all to Paul Miller Racing, so can get some reaction from the GT Daytona category.
And pit lane is becoming a bit of a mob scene here. I'm going to grab Madison Snow. You came back for the season. You're in for the whole year. You're laughing. You just won the Rolex 24 at Daytona.
I mean, it's amazing, and I mean, I'm glad it's with Paul Miller Racing, and it was nerve-wracking the entire last 3 hours of the race.
When you were up there and you were watching, the three of you that weren't in the car, you used the word animal when you were describing Andrea Calderati. What was the key to winning this one?
I mean, it was being there at the end, but we knew it was going to be a tough fight, but you never think the tough fight's going to last the last 3 hours of the race.
And for Brian Sellers, that you're coming over to congratulate. You've been on the podium a handful of times. You've waited for this one. You've waited a long time for this one. Now that you're here, you're on your way to the podium at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. How does it compare to what you imagined?
I don't know. There's not a lot of words, for how you feel right now. You got to say thank you to everyone on the team. Everyone does their part to win this race. But I have to say it certainly would be remiss not to note the job that Andrea Calderali did today. I mean, he was our go-to guy and pulled us through a lot of struggles, and we're just super happy to be doing this together. This is the driver lineup we've wanted for a long time, and we're happy to be here.
Corey Lewis, you've been a part of this team in the endurance package. You stepped in last season. You finished out the year with them. To be able to go home with the Rolex this year, what kind of icing on the cake is that?
It's everything you could ever imagine. I'm kind of at a loss of words. I'm emotional. It's a dream come true. That was the longest, I think it was 3 hours since I've been in the car, and the time wouldn't go any faster. But hats off to this whole Paul Miller organization. I mean, we dug deep. We worked so hard, and the car was flawless, and the pit stops were perfect. The guys did an awesome job, and guys, we just won Rolex.
It's always special to watch a team win the Rolex 24, but when you get to watch a team of 4 drivers all win it for the first time, it makes it just a little bit better. Shea?
Ben Hanley's just caught sight of his teammates running over to him. You're a Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona winner. Here's Colin Brown, Henrik Hedman, and of course Harrison Newey. That says more than anything else could. Does it feel like that on the inside right now?
Yeah, it certainly does. God, that was a long 24 hours. That was a long last hour. Crikey.
Was it as long behind the wheel as it was waiting on the pit lane to see if you guys were going to win?
Oh, it was just, them last 18 laps took forever, They were going by so slowly. I was being cautious with the traffic and everything, just taking it easy and just bringing it home. And, what a result for the team, They fantastic job, No issues with the car, flawless running, perfect race.
2 years in a row, the team gets to win the LMP2 class, but this time it's a little different when it's actually you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Walking towards victory lane with Paul Miller. Paul, racing, it's a sport of passion for you. You have your full-time job. You have all of your other businesses. When you get moments like this, what kind of reward is that?
When I had one of your associates come over to me before the race ended with about a half an hour to go, I said, don't even bother sending a camera over here before the race is over, because I've driven a Le Mans and had the car break on me in the very last lap. And anything can happen. It's goofy what can happen in this game we all love. And it's just so rewarding to have Lamborghini behind us, guys have just done a great job. Brian's obviously done a wonderful job for us. And it's so great to have Madison and Melanie and Martin back. So I'm just over the moon. I'm just about to break in half, to be honest.
Don't break in half before you get up to the podium. Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you.
Colin Brown, you're not used to watching the end of races. Normally you're the ace behind the wheel, so how difficult is it to be sitting on the pit box watching your LMP2 car